implementation. But BRM will be a very limit. Actually, there is a few drawbacks in BRM implementation. So we will discuss later what was the challenges if we implement BRM and what is the advantages if we have not implemented the BRM as well. So both we will discuss in our course later. So let's start with GRC. We'll go through the few definitions. What is GRC? So GRC means governance, risk, and compliance. So governance means it will integrate all the elements, all the process to drive corporate governance, to make a streamline. Risk means generally it will capture all the business related risks, and we will working on what are the controls and what are the mitigation actions to overcome those barriers. Compliance means all these process should be in control to meet the standards for the company and regulatory and best standards in the industry to maintain the policies as well as with a minimum risks to avoid the risks. So by combining all these process, GRC was established. That is the core concept of VISA that was developed. Later it was handed over by the SAP and they named as GRC. So in GRC generally there are 4 components, mainly for access risk analysis, ARE. This is basically the complete configuration is based on the SOD, segregation of duties. So there are a few challenges in the industry before going to establish the VISA or GRC. The earlier, there are some financial loss and companies were closed. I just make some examples. For the few companies, they lost because they have not maintained the proper documentation and as well as the process. So these are the few examples for some of the companies. So they have not followed the complete segregation of duties and they have not estimated the risks. Because of this, they lost the complete financial balance sheets and they have closed the completely operations. To avoid this situations, we will configure how effectively we will use the SOD and what is the various challenges and how to overcome those risks. The complete configuration belongs to, we will deeply discuss on the access risk analysis and remediation form. This is not normal, this is not existing in the normal security operations, how we would work in SAP R3 versions. Basically, it is just user administration and role administration of the main 2 tasks, which we worked in ECC normal versions. But this is an additional flavor which was the fundamental aspect of base component of GRC, which will be established. And the second one is EAM, Emergency Access Management. This is also one of the core concepts, which was not exist in the ECC, but it is existing in the GRC component to control the emergency configuration activities and to review the complete logs. Whereas access request management is a complete user administration process. Whatever the normal ECC operations user administration process, we will just automate the complete process, approvals and user creation, user assigned, role assignment process, log, unlock, whatever the operation, user administration operations we will perform in the ECC. The same things we will do in the ARM. And coming to BRM is a role administration process. It is the same process which we work in the ECC, but there are some drawbacks. Example, a role after creating the role in development system, we need to move that role to production system for the user assignment and actual application we can use. But in the GRC, that facility was not there. That feature was not available in GRC to move the role across the landscape. That is a major drawback. But with the limited configurations, we will use the roles. We will import the roles and we will assign through ARM process. That we will discuss in the ARM part. ARM prerequisites, what are the prerequisites to configure the workflows and assigned to users. Then move on to access control versions. So I just made this slide for understanding what was the naming conventions for VISA, GRC 5.3 and GRC 10. The same with the 10, 10.1 and 12 as well. So earlier versions for VISA, it is access enforcer. Now that made as complaint user provisioning up in GRC 5.2, whereas access request management or access requests in GRC 10 versions, 10 and 12. Similarly for ARD, it is a compliance calibrator in VISA, but whereas risk analysis and remediation RAP in access control 5.3, and the same named as access risk analysis in GRC latest versions. Similarly for firefighter is the VISA name and supervisor privilege management SPM in access control 5.3, and GRC 10 versions it is emergency access management. And the last one is the role export. Role export in VISA, but whereas enterprise role management in GRC 5.2 and business role management in BRM. In the business role management GRC 10 version, they have introduced a business role concept additionally, which was not existing in the previous version. This is risks, some of the risks why GRC was established with SOD concept. I just made what are the companies and on what date it was outcome. Till that time, the company was there, but later it was identified there is a financial loss. After the financial loss, US government has started and they have developed, there is a company, there is a loss. So one of the major losses, SOX law, suburban SOX law. So there are two persons they have introduced, they have identified, they did the research for all these financial losses, and they have mainly point out two laws. One is SOX 402 and second one is SOX 302. 302 is just a documentation. Documentation, it is related to reports, financial reports. All the higher management should review the documents. Because of lack of the documentation review, they have just blindly approved all the reports, but finally they have identified there is a financial loss. But whereas SOX 404 is somewhat lengthy process, it was defined for each person responsibility. So it should be like who has initiated the transaction, he should not have an approval transaction. Like the major aspect of SOX 404 is no single person should have the complete access, transaction access. Meaning, if a person is initiate the transaction, he should not approve, and he should not. If The person who is approved the transaction, he will not update the record in the SAP system. And those who are record the transaction, he cannot close the monthly balances. Like that, it was a splitting, segregation of duties. They made it as segregation for each person. You have to do only, your limit is to restrict to particular tasks for the complete transaction. Like that, they have segregated and they proposed. After implementing this segregation of duties, again, it will introduce to all the markets, and SAP was took over their flavor. Then they started working on the global rules. That we will discuss later, how they have did the segregation and how they have developed the rule set.
Girish, sorry to bother you. Can you hide that small screen which is coming up? You can hide that. Small, just the deterrent fraud, because it requires, yeah, that's all of that.
Yeah, because of this segregation of duties, the fraud is very less. But there are some chances, but it is a very minimal because of how we have implemented the strategy of implementation that will decide the loss, whether it will be going by if it is a fully self-implemented systems, then there are some restrictions, like there are some additional costs which is required. Example, in general way, the user administration, role administration cannot be with one person. So we need to additionally add staffing. Staffing is the some additional cost we need to invest. So like that, there are some drawbacks. Even we will implement the segregation of duties, but the major thing is we can avoid the financial loss. And some of the examples how we will go with the segregation of duties. The person who has we will go to one or two examples. As you might aware, we complete a process, but I just list down a few of the examples which we will generally use. Who raise the requisition of the purchasing goods, he should not approve the purchase. The person who approves the purchase goods services, he should not consider the monthly financial reports. Like how we have discussed. So there are various, based on this concept, SAP has developed rules. And what is the rule set and what is the elements in the rule set, that we will discuss in the ARF. Till now, any questions? Or are you looking for any more information?
Girish, so we will not be covering user access review here?
No, we will cover.
Okay.
That is normal. We will cover user access review and SOD review as
well. Okay. So that user access review is not a different like part of GRC?
No, that is the part of GRC. But I'll let you know. After 2 slides, you will understand what is the concept of the UR.
Okay, fine.
So Girish, I have only one question. Like, we are not covering the process control, right? Is it correct?
No.
In this course. Okay.
Yeah, we will go through only access control.
Okay.
Hi Girish, we are going to cover like audit reports also in GRC. Like.
We will go through NWBC reports. We will cover all NWBC links reports, like emergency access management, how to like a role related reports, and how to extract the user level, role level risk analysis reports, and possible, we will go through the dashboard reports with overview. Very overview pages. Because 10.1, after 10.1, there is a, the dashboard reports will not work in all the systems because of some support pack issue. So here then SAP has introduced theory overview pages. So we will go through theory overview pages to cover the dashboard reports.
Okay, Girish.
Moving on to architecture, in the architecture there are total front-end components and back-end components. I just leave them, but we'll see. This is the GRC12 architecture. Are you able to see the screen, right?
Yes.
Yes.
In the GRC12 architecture, there is some additional, like now, Fiori version came to picture. So there is a central hub deployment and embedded deployment. I hope everyone know what is a central hub deployment and embedded deployment. So this concept is a completely embedded system in the architecture. With the, if it is a central hub deployment, the Fiori component would be a separate system we need to install. But whereas if it is embedded system, the GRC access component GRC FND_A would be installed in the backend as a backend, and the front end is a Fiori form. If it is a central hub, the front end server UI5 1.2 version with minimum component that should be installed in the separate box. That is the only difference, a central hub and embedded system landscape. But the GRC minimum version starts with NetWeaver 7.52 in any of the DB. Most of the Fiori apps were transactional apps. If it is not transactional, like if it is any analytical or any fact sheet apps would require custom apps, then it won't work on any DB. We would require HANA database, right? So this is called some sidecar implementation, right? The actual GRC instance would be in a separate Oracle or some other database. But whereas we can integrate the GRC system along with the HANA database to work on the analytical apps and fact sheet apps. This is called, we were using HANA database separately, and we will integrate to GRC system for few applications through SIT, System Transformation. So through this process, we will execute the analytical and fact sheet apps. This process is called sidecar. If we were directly using HANA database for the backend, and on the top of it, we will install the GRC file component and GRC components, everything. This is called the main car. You understand the difference, right? What is sidecar and what is a main car?
Okay, so configuration point of view, is there any differences for these two different database, or we can say embedded or central?
There is no difference. No difference. See, earlier all the applications were installed on Oracle, right? Mostly on Oracle or Sybase. Most of the applications.
Yeah.
So now with the trend, some of the applications were not moved to new. They are not migrated as of now. They are still using the old application. But due to this Fiori, emerging Fiori and some systems they were implemented, so they want to use GRC apps. With that, they don't want to migrate their GRC application, or they don't want to go with the new landscape as of now because of cost. So with those companies, they will use the sidecar. They will just use the database to run the apps. Later, they will migrate their database Oracle to SAP HANA. There is no difference. But whatever their cost present company strategy, they will use they will also have a flexibility to use the HANA database with a sidecar concept.
So I have a question here. So are you saying that GRC will have HANA database as a backend and connectors will have Oracle database? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Meaning, like, for example, right, I have ECC. ECC runs on Oracle, but my GRC runs on HANA database.
Yes, to run the apps for the current trend.
Right. So basically GRC is just a repository, right?
Yes, just a repository to run any apps, because the main drawback for fact sheet and analytical apps, they must require the HANA database.
All right.
Those apps will not work on any database except HANA.
So how is the market right now? Is everyone is on HANA database with GRC, or they are still on Oracle, something like that? The GRC, please.
So some of the applications they are still using Oracle only, but they are using, those who are still using Oracle, they are using sidecar concept.
So actually they will like this scenario. Suppose brain system is on Oracle database and we have separate box for the Fiori, which is on HANA. So in this case, like what scenario we are considering? GRC is on ECC, right? On Oracle database. I mean, that component, GRC component is on.
Yeah, if they required analytical and fact sheet apps, they will go for the sidecar concept with SLT concept.
So
this is required only for analytical and fact sheet apps, if required.
So basically, right. So basically, we are pulling the data into HANA database with sidecar with the SLP SLT process. So yeah, basically system landscape transformation. We use this to load the data into HANA database from many other databases.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we have around we have 4 SLT systems. So we use it for right now for HANA. We have sidecar HANA. We have 2 of them. So we load the data with the SLT process from ECC or CRM or BI. So yeah, I think it falls in the same category.
Yes. Even GRC also the same category.
Yeah. Okay.
If they want to run the latest reports, because the database will not support. So by using this concept, they will extract the data. So we're clear on this, right?
Yeah. So basically, you have sidecar HANA database that you load the data from different legacy systems. If you have Oracle database, I can say that not just Oracle, it could be either DB2 or SQL or Oracle, and you can replicate the data into HANA database to run the analytical reports.
Yep.
Because the thing is like, so the report is coming from HANA database directly, the analytical reports.
Yes.
That's the concept of it. Yeah.
Moving on to
based on the customer requirement, based on the customer requirement, we will decide like GRC will have which database, like ECC or HANA.
No.
Yeah, that depends upon the what is the outcome.
Outcome.
Customer requirement is one thing, but what is the outcome? Like if we are going to implement only transactional apps, we don't require sidecar. We don't require HANA database.
So in a layman language, you have BI system, right? BW system, right? How we load the data into BI and run the reports for historical reports. Like that, we do it over here too. HANA database kind of, we put everything over there to run the reports. And we extract the data from different systems like ECC, BI, CRM, SCM, APO, all these things. Yeah, basically, we are bringing everything into one system. We are loading into HANA database via SLT process. SLT is another SAP system. So it's kind of it's kind of middle layer between Oracle data and the HANA data. Got it, right?
Sonali, you were going?
Yes. Like if I have ECC, S4HANA, both the system, and I have GRC, a separate system, GRC. So how these database are connected?
Yeah, so that's what Girish was saying, right? You have ECC and Oracle, right? So you cannot load the Oracle data into HANA database directly. You need to have the SLT process. Unless you load the data into HANA database, you cannot run the application. What is it called? Apps, right? The analytical apps.
Yeah, apps, analytical apps.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So, to answer in a very simple manner, if it is existing landscape, okay, the old version of ECC and GRC kind of versions, okay, still the company is using Oracle DB. But whereas you have upgraded to GRC 12. GRC 12 doesn't have a mandatory to go with the HANA database. Still you can use Oracle database. But you, with the latest GRC 12 after upgrade, you want to use the apps. Okay? In that apps, if there is a requirement, you would require, apart from transactional, would also require some analytical apps and some fact sheet apps. In this situation, the existing system, whatever the ECC or GRC Oracle database, will not support to extract the reports.
Correct.
Is it clear? So now, is there any, see, if it is a theory implementation, not only GRC, right? There is a separate landscape they will develop S4HANA with HANA database, right?
Yeah.
So after what they will do, they want to work on the transaction apps and fact sheet apps. They can have a concept called SLT. With help of SLT, they can integrate. They cannot migrate their database right now to Oracle to HANA database. Instead of that, they will use the SLT concept. They will extract the data.
Okay.
Because current trend, not only this is GRC, even BW also. Even BW, the older version BI also. They cannot. They will develop so many reports in BI with the normal database. But now the HANA reports, they mandatory they will develop in HANA database, the site system. So then right now they cannot convert their complete BI reports into HANA reports. They will go slowly, right? So for that meanwhile process, they will use the SLT concept. They will integrate the BI application to HANA database and they can extract the reports using SSC instead of BobJ.
Yeah, initially most of organization make changes. I mean, BW on HANA system. Most of organization did that.
BW on HANA.
BW on HANA, but all other systems on Oracle database like that. Maybe on other, but maximum client having on the Oracle database. Initially, they transferred BW only on HANA database. Okay.
Yeah, so the thing is, right, so you know that SAP is going to stop the support for non-HANA database by 2025. So it's mandated that every company should migrate all their servers to HANA in next 3 years.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to this GRC component. Okay. So with this GRC, we have to install GRC FND_A on the top of NetWeaver 7.52 version to get the GRC. To integrate the GRC to other ECC or any other system, we would require some RFC connections to establish the connection between the two systems. To achieve this, we would require a plugin concept. So plugin is just nothing but the medium or channel, like how we are communicating. The English is the common medium for both parties. Like that, there are some plugins. If it is an ECC system, there is a GRC PINW NetWeaver plugin. It should be mandatory to install in the normal ECC or ERP applications, so that this system will be compatible to whatever the information coming from this data to GRC system. It is just for plugin installation, is just for a communication and compatibility purpose. Right now, if we see the screen, there are some S4HANA system, RFC. What is the type of connection is also mentioned. If it is a portal, there is a web service, SAML connection. And if it is an IDM system, web service. Like this, we would require the components. If it is a BI system, BW component or BI component, that is 1.3, some version based on the latest version. So we would require plugins to install. So in the architecture diagram, generally, we will observe what is the type of connection to integrate specific applications. Mainly a portal, GRC PINW is the NetWeaver, and GRC PI ERP is the ERP application. In case of any HR structural authorizations were implemented. Any doubts?
So Girish, so the RFC connection should be two ways. One is for the ABAP side, other one is for the HANA database side, right? There will be two connections.
Yeah, actually, earlier it was not mandatory, both ways. Which generally we will create both ways, but it is not mandatory. The RFC user will be created in the backend system and maintained in the GRC system to establish the connection.
Right. So basically, I have ECC, right? I have ECC, ABAP, and also I have ECC HANA database. Then I have two connectors, right? One is going to ABAP, other one is going to the HANA database.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. For HANA database, it is a Gecko connection. First, they will develop HANA. Yeah, Gecko connection.
Right?
Yeah, logical connection. Normal ABAP, they will do connection, and as well as they will establish Java connection as well. HANA database, Gecko connection. But in the normal ways, even for RFCs in the normal versions also, it doesn't mandatory for two-way, but generally we will create. But the success factor, mandatory, you have to establish both sides. Otherwise, your firefighter applications will not work. In the ECP system, you must maintain both side RFCs. And RFC names also, it's not like generally SID CLNT 100 like that we will maintain. But in the success factor, SAP will define the name of the success factor. What is the user ID? what is the connection name. So everything in the SuccessFactors integration guide, it would be there. They have given the instructions. Yes, sir.
So, Krish, when that means SAP will come and do the initial configuration, right?
No. That we will decide. If we require help from SAP will install. But in integration guide, they will mention all these details during the installation guide. SuccessFactors, GRC integration kind of guides, they will be available, right?
So it is given, in short, it is given by SAP that what will be the user name, and they will provide what's the role and everything. Okay. I did not know that. Thanks.
Yeah, for SuccessFactors, it is mandatory for two-way. Otherwise, your firefighter application will not work. That is one thing. And HANA database also. We would require both connections. But whereas ECC general applications, we will just create the RFC user in backend ECC system, and we will maintain SM59 RFC connections in the GRC system. One way. Basically, we will extract the data in ECC system.
Yeah, so Girish, question. So how different is ECC from SuccessFactors box? What is the difference?
No, there are so many things. Like SuccessFactors, it will be used for the complete timesheet payroll, hire and rehire. It's a kind of a same HR implementation, basically. But
it's ECC plus some plugins. That's what you mean. ECC plus.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Additionally, the complete operations they will do it in cloud-based. All these applications.
Okay. So you still have the same RFC connection with GRC, right? If you have
for ECP, there is two systems: Employee Central and Employee Central Payroll. Two systems. One is the ABAP version and one is the cloud version.
Okay.
For ABAP version, you must require RFC connections, both sides. Whereas a cloud version, the concept is different. Like through IAG, you need to integrate all the cloud applications, like on-premises or SAP Cloud.
One clarification here, Rish. For embedded system, you only need RFC just for the main connection. You don't need separate. Right?
Yeah, that is true. See, for embedded system, the strategy would be different, definitely. But whereas kind of two systems, the RFC connections would be different.
So for embedded system also, you need to have both plugins and you still need to have plugin, right?
Yes.
Both you need to have. Even though it is the same system, but you still have that.
Even though it is the same system, we would require plugin based on the version, like mainly PINW. Generally, whatever the HR system, structural authorized system, cannot be installed GRC component. If it is the same component, then PIERP. The plugin just only differ based on the installation. How you have installed ECC system, and on the top of it, what is your GRC system nature.
Got it.
But nowadays, on the S4HANA, whatever the S4HANA box, the same application, GRC would install. There are few
that's in 2020, right? Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, that is 2020. There are some issues are coming that we will discuss probably next sessions. Post installation tasks, what errors we will get it, and how to. There is what is countermeasures for temporary. SAP definitely will raise hand because I've seen the issues post installation activities. There are 2-3 instances, the same issue. If it is S4HANA, and the top of it, GRC installation in the same box, like an embedded. It's not a kind of embedded actually. Embedded means S4HANA Fiori, but on the top of it, even GRC also installed in the same concept. It's a kind of complete embedded version.
But you still have other connectors too, right, Girish? You still have
that is depends.
Yeah.
If there is some GRC like other applications, we will integrate. We will integrate those systems, but majority of the systems, S4HANA, Fiori, and GRC would be installed in the same box.
Same box. Yeah.
So then there are some configuration issues, even though we have configured properly for the post steps, but there are some challenges, and we need to do some manual steps, countermeasures.
For the upgrade, right? Or are you talking about greenfield?
Greenfield implementation.
Okay.
Not the upgrade. Even the upgrade also, the same issues would come. But since it is an existing system, some post tasks already completed, right? But we must validate all the post tasks, what the configuration, task settings, everything we need to recheck. Because it is impacting one of the major BC sets and subsequent tasks. So we would be very precautious if it is everything in the same system.
Right. So what is the risk involved if you do that, everything in one system? Is there risk or no?
No risk. As of now, it is impacting majorly on workflow tasks.
I see. Okay.
So we need to configure manually the entire tasks. Because if it is a standard set of activities, we would activate, then automatically the respective fields, it will be there, the data. So we will just use those data and we will configure. But if it is everything in the same set of box, even though we configure properly, but there are some issues are coming. So we have to take appropriate measures. Since it is the strategy is started now only from past.
Yeah, I just saw that 2020.
So
yeah.
SAP definitely SAP will take time to take the countermeasures. Definitely, they will provide. They will simply say done properly. That is only one simple statement, but definitely it would impact majorly on the workflows. What we have observed.
Yeah, and also the database is going to be huge. The database is going to be huge because you have so many tables, so you're bringing the data over there. So yeah. Yeah,
we have to validate. If it is a brownfield, then definitely we have to validate the complete landscape, all the tables, whether the data is appropriate, whether the data is accurate, and post tasks would be, we have to be very cautious on all the post tasks. If it is a greenfield, it would be, the issues would be different because it is depends upon the person who is involved.
Yeah, it's like vanilla, right? So yeah, so
yeah, because see, if we observe some of the screens, then we will, okay, in this particular screen, these tasks should be appear. If it is a greenfield, the person who doesn't know the impact, then definitely he has to go through issue by issue. The same screen, there are multiple tasks. He needs to reactivate. He needs to take help from whatever the existing system. That next post configuration tasks. See how these sessions are planned. Each task, what is the major issues? And apart from that, what is the current issues we will be faced? And what is how to overcome those issues? What that will be each concept. Maximum we will discuss on each concept and what is the priority of each post configuration task or configuration task, and what are the existing issues and what are the current issues. mostly we will discuss on each concept. And if you are working in on such an environment, definitely it would be helpful for all. What are the issues and what are the countermeasures? Because I have seen three instances, the same S4HANA GRC theory on the same box, same has the phase issue, and we have updated manually with the countermeasures. Later, it was worked, but since it is support pack to support pack version, it may have, we have to check, because currently now we are on 18, but till 16 or 15, the versions they have faced the same issue.
Yeah, I think from 1809 is little bit getting better and better, right? From 1809.
Yeah, it is not part of the S4 version, but everything will be installed in the same box, because of we don't know the S4 HANA theory, whether it is facing some issues with the component activation, but GRC definitely the workflow got impacted. Basic tasks got impacted.
Okay.
That is what we observed as a team.
I see. Got it. So major issue is the workflow process.
Yes.
When you have everything in one process.
Pre-tasks, all the pre-tasks got impacted.
Mm-hmm.
So Girish, what you're saying is that in the embedded system, the workflow is not really working properly, right?
Yeah, all the pre-tasks, whatever the pre-tasks, right? We work PFTC, all the tasks, it got disappeared.
Even after you configure it?
After we configure, we have to manually update.
Yeah, you have to manually update. Like for example, the MSMP, there are 10 workflow. So none of them works. I don't think so. That's correct in the embedded system.
No, Mantriji, you just wait, because most of them doesn't know, might be MSMP. I'm not sure, but
okay.
We'll discuss on the post tasks, not the workflows. Post tasks. I'm talking about PFTC tasks.
Okay. I got you. That I know. Okay, bye.
So the plugin installation should be mandatory to establish the connection between the systems, GRC to other ports. And there is a cloud. Cloud has different strategies, because by standard it is IAG plugin should be installed. If not, there is PI also would work. PI, then they will go with some interface to implement the integration between the GRC and cloud applications. That depends upon how the strategy we are going to follow in the implementation. But majorly, IAG governance. But a success factor, again, it is not required IAG now. SAP has introduced SFEC, is the medium like SAP. So with the help of SFEC, we will directly integrate and we can provision the users with the success factor.
Sorry for interrupt. Girish, here cloud-based means we are talking about web-based application, or it is cloud-based S4HANA system?
Cloud-based S4HANA. Like all these applications. Again, the Ariba and Concur and S4HANA, they can dig the add-ons. If it is completely cloud, same instance or different instances.
So for cloud-based system, need some different connections, means like?
Yes. Through IAG, we can use IAG bridge. IAG is a separate chargeable connector. You have to purchase this IAG. With help of IAG, then we were integrated the cloud applications.
Or is it another layer? Chris?
Yeah, is it another layer? It is actually middleware.
Middleware, right? Yeah. Okay.
Middleware.
It's kind of BTP.
Yeah, kind of a BTP. That depends upon which cloud you are using.
Yeah, got it.
SAP, then again, it's a BTP.
Yeah.
But SuccessFactors is out of scope now, IAG. We can directly integrate with SFEC by using this application. We can directly integrate and we can provision. But whereas Ariba, Concur, and other cloud applications, we still require IAG plugin.
Okay.
And there is a green light adapter. So this is also a web application. It's again green light adapter is cost. We have to purchase the license for green light adapter. This will be used if our data source is not HR. If it is PeopleSoft, it's just some kind of a Oracle applications. So we would require to integrate those applications. Then we would require the green light adapter. Third party, like not SAP, but some third parties.
Girish, do you see any instances like this? Like,
yeah, definitely.
Nice. Okay.
Oracle Fusion.
Yes, I have never had experience, so I don't. We only have SAP connectors, non-SAP. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there are some Oracle Fusion. So if you want to integrate, you would require the green light adapter. Earlier, I think 10 version or just a 10 version. During the starting days, even SuccessFactors also we would go with the green light adapter. Later, it was SuccessFactors is also a third-party company. Later, it was taken over by SAP.
So don't we need data services to massage the data?
Like again, the structure is different, right? To compatible the structure required. So it would require the compatible. But green light adapter is common third-party middleware to integrate any data.
Yeah, I was wondering like how the database records will be written in GRC when you put the connection with these systems. So unless you have like data services or something like that, maybe you said like green. What is it? Green?
Green light.
Green light may have that capability to massage the data.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
But it is very expensive.
Yeah.
Green light. Very, very expensive.
Mm-hmm. So they charge based on the number of records or uses? The profit.
Much about, but it is the cost is high. We approached for 3 years back SuccessFactors implementation 10 version. I think 10.23 SuccessFactors has started integration. 10 support for 23 probably. That time, one of the implementation we approached, we had a discussion. So that user-based on the data, there are so many conditions during that meeting. But the outcome, the customer was not interested to pay additional amount. But later, that was taken over by SAP. It was almost 5 years ago. The discussion was happened. Later it was taken over by SAP, then SAP has introduced first IAG to IAG, then later now directly they have provided the connector.
Okay. So basically, if you have any non-SAP system, so there is a connector in the market, right? For integrating GRC.
Yeah.
Okay. So in this case, we have green light. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, green light. And now, moving on to these front-end components. That depends. We have a different source of channels where now Theory has launched as we can use the front-end. And we have anyway WBC. And we have even a portal is one of the front-end components we can use GRC. And now we have web applications. Sorry, mobile applications. Also, we can use Theory apps, and we can access the application. So, any questions?
So, Girish, question here. So, regarding this mobile application, right? So, let's say I have my iPhone. I log into my inbox. I want to approve some GRC request. So, I should be able to approve my mobile phone, right? My mobile phone or iPad, or right?
That particular app should be installable in the mobile.
So, either
like web. There are web like a Theory apps. There are some web SAP applications. There are some mobile, and there are a launchpad. Like the different sorts of outputs would be there. The app should be installable in the mobile.
Mobile. So basically,
tab also.
Right. So basically, let's say I got a request, right? Approval request in Outlook. Either I can click on that link to approve the request, or I can have an app to approve the request in inbox. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
If it is that mobile application is available for that particular app, even we can use the mobile application and we can use the mobile and we can approve the request.
Okay. So either way, so these are the sources to reach the GRC, right?
Yes.
On mobile, yeah.
So Girish, what is the BobJ client?
BobJ is, see, for any reports in the BW. So the business objects would be the front end. Now it is replacing with BobJ with SAC, SAP Analytical Cloud. But BobJ is just only a report. Whatever the BW report, it's a kind of a front end. We can see the complete data with the help of BobJ.
So BobJ is kind of another BW tool, reporting tool. There are so many tools in the market. You can use a Tableau or BobJ. It's just a front end, to analyze your reports. Yeah.
Now they're using that SAP Analytics Cloud.
SAC. SAC is the new.
Yeah.
SAC is the on the top of HANA. But whereas the previous BW version of BobJ is the reporting tool. Front end.
Okay.
So yeah, SAC has a lot of advantages actually. You don't need to have multiple instances. You just have that different data sources. You just point into what you want. It's very good actually, the SAC compared to BobJ and BW. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you can read some documentation online if you. Yeah, so it's very interesting. Yeah.
And one of the important two-way connections, two-way RFC connections we discussed earlier. If we have implemented firefighter concept, deprovisioning, central hub, right? Firefighter, we will use the central concept. If you want to use the backend system also, firefighter, we need to run the sync job, master data sync, to compatible the firefighter from backend system to GRC system repository to make sure that we would require both RFC connections. But generally, we cannot use that. It is not a trend like we need to maintain both two-way RFC. Until unless we will use the decentralized concept, we would require, but that depends. But success factor is mandatory and HANA database is mandatory. So any questions on the architecture?
One more question here, Girish. How about integration with Salesforce? Can we do that with GRC?
Salesforce, I think we will go with the Greenlight adapter.
Oh, how to use Greenlight adapter? Okay.
Yeah.
Girish, is the HR trigger is the concept of integrating success factor to GRC?
No, HR trigger is a normal ERP application. Success factor has a separate trigger, success factor trigger. See, we are just replacing HR system with success factor. The complete HR operations like payroll, timesheets, like onboarding and offboarding, everything. Once we will implement success factor, we will perform all the HR operations through success factor system instead of normal ERP HR system.
Okay.
It's the same operation. HR trigger, how HR trigger, we will configure success factor trigger. But it's a cloud application, that is normal instance application. We can use the data source, whatever the HR operations, all the HR operations. But there are two concepts. One is EC and ECP in the success factor. One is a cloud application and another one is normal SAP application, ABAP version. So any other questions?
Yeah, so the challenge is quite, sorry.
Sorry, you can go ahead, Shekhar.
Yeah, okay. So if you have non-SAP applications in HR, that is a little challenging for HR triggers because you need to bring the data into somewhere and do some data services and then load the data into tables, right? HR tables.
Yeah, definitely we would require the interfaces.
Yeah.
Definitely we would require interfaces.
Yeah, because there are a lot of issues actually. You know, if the file got some corrupted.
Yeah,
you know.
file. Majorly file format and the arrangement of the data.
Yeah.
Definitely the challenges will be there every time.
Yeah. Main thing is the terminations and LOAs are key, right? That's where they mess up a lot because we use the triggers for that only, mainly. So
yeah, last time we worked support for the one of the project. We all worked for that. We are using interface. There are the data source is an HR system primary, but the data coming from the PeopleSoft, they converted into file. That file has different issues, but since it is almost all the employee data, so they cannot verify. And they will process the interface later we will observe on our validations. We came to know that there is a small spaces, question marks. There is no end of the issues because it is a continuous process because
That's right.
it has collected from different sources and they gathered and they combined one file. Since it is a huge amount of data, they don't even time to validate, and it is not easy to validate as well. Until unless we will trigger and definitely we will get the ticket. Then we will troubleshoot. There is some partner number was not properly. There is a dual partner numbers instead of one terminated user. There is a active user got terminated. But later we will check out the partner number is same. So dual partner numbers got generated. That we were highlighted. We have approached. We have high priority message that we will do the countermeasures temporarily. Then again, instead of file, the person needs to work right that day. Again, the master data team, they will use the Firefighter and they make them active in the system with help of Firefighter. That there are so many issues. There is false triggers. False triggers and spool files was not clear. So it depends.
It depends exactly. So that's
definitely it is a interface means definitely it would be a challenges because of
that is for sure.
the data format.
So the more lists we have, more complicated actually. So
yep, definitely. And even PA is a data source, right? Sorry, PA is the integration channel. So system should be available and it has to their own process, right?
Right.
Definitely they have to use the PA. Through PA only they can process the complete files.
Yeah. Well, there are some other tools, MuleSoft. We use MuleSoft. We replace the PI with MuleSoft. So it's robust. So different ways, middle ways.
Definitely it would require that is the reason as much as customization, it would help to avoid the issues. We reduce the customizations, especially for interfaces. We can avoid majority of the issues.
Got it.
Okay, any questions on architecture?
No.
So I think we should stop here.
Sir, yeah, that's what I'm thinking because it may take at least 30-35 minutes.
What do you guys think?
Okay
to stop?
Yes, but we can stop for the year. So for the day. So maybe the recording session will be sent to everyone, right? So, if you have any questions, they can review them, right?
Oh yeah, I'll add you to the WhatsApp group. You can ask questions. Girish is part of that group. You can there, and you will also have Girish's number. In there, you can pick it up, and then if you want to WhatsApp separately, it's all up to you.
Got it.
Okay, I don't want to see I told you guys, right? Let me stop the recording first, okay?